suggest that perhaps this is another attempt by PKK or one of its splinter groups that has also claimed responsibility for previous attacks. This is another attempt for this militant group to dissuade people, tourists, from coming to Turkey. And that strategy, when you look at the past year, has been extremely effective. Tourism here in Turkey has taken a big hit. However, it's important to stress that at this minute, no group, no one has claimed responsibility, but certainly in the coming hours, if no one does claim responsibility, those are the two groups that a lot of people are going to be looking at. ISIS, the group, the Turkish government, Turkish forces are fighting in northern Syria, and of course PKK, a group that they're fighting in southeastern Turkey, a fight that has been going on for a very long time now.
Given the threat level, though security was tight at Ataturk Airport, that meant, of course, that anyone who wanted to attack it would have found it incredibly difficult to get inside the main terminal building, and that may have meant, Reza, that the casualties were far fewer than they might have been.
Yeah, and again, I repeat, when you have an incident like this, where there's fatalities, casualties, rarely can you get anything positive out of it. But I think in the coming hours, if we get more details, if indeed these attackers attempted to penetrate the airport and they failed and they were stopped by security forces at this control point, I think many people, despite the casualties, despite the fatalities, are going to look at this as one small positive, that they couldn't penetrate the airport, get to the terminal, where, of course, there's many travelers. And we should point out, Istanbul's Atatürk Airport, one of the busiest airports in the world. I think a list I looked at named it as the 11th busiest airport in the world last year. Roughly 61 million travelers went through Atatürk Airport. It's a regional hub. Rarely have I been to this airport where it's been quiet. It's always buzzing with travelers and passengers. And you can imagine, if indeed these suicide attackers would have passed that control point, would have been able to park their car and walk into the terminal, obviously we would have been talking about many more fatalities, many more casualties. At this point, indications are they couldn't penetrate it, that they were neutralized by security forces at this control point. Reports, according to officials, they were fired upon by security forces, and that's when apparently they detonated their suicide vest.